Good day, students. I welcome you all to another discussion for this subject, construction materials and testing. So we are already down to our third lesson for this week, no? And also this will serve as our last topic for this subject as well as for this semester. Okay, so the third lesson or the last lesson will be the field tests of construction materials. So previously, no, from the very beginning up to the previous lesson, we talked about laboratory tests of various construction materials. So aside from laboratory tests, we also conduct no field tests on construction materials, and this lecture note will be about that field test. Okay. Okay. So the field test, its definition and importance. Okay, so field tests are tests conducted in the construction site or area to measure the conformance of the materials and construction of your project to the project specification. Field tests are conducted to, first, to determine the in situ quality of materials for construction. Field tests are also conducted to validate conformance of the materials to the specification of various laboratory tests, and also field tests are conducted to provide data for laboratory testing. So common field tests are conducted on the following construction materials. Okay, first is for the field test for soil. Second, we have also field test for concrete and at the same time asphalt mix. But also no, along with these three common materials, nagid po lain pod no nga mga field test for other materials, but siguro dili kay ingon ana ka common no. So this lecture notes will only focus on the discussion of the field test of these three no ka common materials. So for the field test of soil, mo ni siya no ang common nga mga field test with respect sa soil no or aggregates. First is for compaction and density test no. Kana sila is na sila corresponding standard test methods for that specific parameter no under ASTM. Okay? For the compaction and density of soil diha sa site or diha sa field no, we have ASTM D1556 or yung equivalent sa AASHTO, which is T191 ano ni siya field density test na using sand cone no? But we can also use rubber balloon, and that will be under ASTM D2167 or equivalent sa AASHTO T05. Okay, and also we can conduct the FDT or field density test using the nuclear material or nuclear apparatus no, or the nuclear density test. And ang ihang code ano under ASTM is D6938 or ihang equivalent sa AASHTO is T310. And also we do determination of in situ moisture content no, sa soil, and that will be under ASTM D4944 or the calcium carbide gas pressure tester. Okay, and also we can determine the strength and also the classification of our soil diha sa site through first no soil exploration, and second the CBR determination using dynamic cone penetrometer or the ASTM D6951. Okay, also note that naatay laboratory test for CBR no, but kani siya nga type is for the field or in situ. Okay. And for the concrete, mo ni siya ang mga parameters, no? And also iyang respective nga mga standard test methods under ASTM. Okay? For the consistency and workability of concrete, no, naa diha ang ASTM C143 or the slump of hydraulic cement concrete. And also for the sampling of concrete diha sa field, we have ASTM C172 or the standard practice for sampling freshly mixed concrete, and at the same time ASTM C31 or the making and curing of concrete test specimen in the field. Okay, and alongside with the determination of the consistency, workability, and sampling method no sa concrete na to diha sa site, we can also determine the temperature and the air content no sa ato ang freshly mixed concrete diha sa site, which are under the test methods of ASTM C1064 or the temperature of freshly mixed concrete. We also have ASTM C 231, or the air content of fresh concrete by the pressure method, and ASTM C173, air content of fresh concrete by this time volumetric method. And we also have ASTM C138, or the determination of density or unit weight, yield, and air content of your concrete. And now for asphalt, the determination of the compaction and density of our asphalt mix. We have ASTM D2950, or the standard test method for density of bituminous concrete in place. We also have ASTM D6925-15, or the preparation and determination of the relative density of asphalt mix. And also the sampling method, no, for your asphalt mix is under ASTM D979, or the standard practice for sampling bituminous paving mixtures. Now, first we talk about, no, among all those tests that covers the field test for soil, we only pick one, and then that's amo na siya itong i-discuss, no. First we talk about the field tests for soil. So among all those tests, nadiha ang ASTM D1556, or the standard test method for density and unit weight of soil in place by the sand cone method. So for the scope of this test method, or standard test method rather, this test method may be used to determine the in-place density and unit weight of soils using a sand cone apparatus. This test method is applicable for soils without appreciable amounts of rock or coarse materials in excess of 38 millimeters in diameter. This test method is not suitable for organic, saturated, or highly plastic soils that would deform or compress during the excavation of the test hole. So, kung imuhang testing pit or testing site na wala siya ani nga scope, you may use other types or other method in determining the density and unit weight of soil in place. No, kay tulungan ni sa kaklase na sand cone and then na the rest of the two. So kung wala siya na fall under sa kaning scope ani niya nga test method, then you can use the other ones. Okay? Now for the summary of test method. First, a test hole is hand excavated in the soil to be tested, and all the material from the hole is saved in a container. Then the hole is filled with free-flowing sand of a known density, and the volume is determined. The in-place wet density of the soil is determined by dividing the wet mass of the removed material by the volume of the hole. The water content of the material from the hole is determined, and the dry mass of the material and the in-place dry density are calculated using the wet mass of the soil, the water content, and the volume of the hole. Okay. Now for the significance and use of the standard test method, so with respect to the results of this test, this test method is used to determine the density of the compacted soils placed during the construction of earth embankments, road fill, and structural backfill. It is often used as a basis of acceptance for soils compacted to a specified density or percentage of a maximum density determined by test methods such as test methods D698 or D1557. This test method can also be used to determine the in-place density of natural soil deposits, aggregates, soil mixtures, or other similar materials. Now we talk about one of the field tests po, no, sa concrete, which is ASTM C143, or the standard test method for slump of hydraulic cement concrete. For the scope of this test method covers the determination of slump of hydraulic cement concrete, both in the laboratory and in the field. For the summary of test, a sample of freshly mixed concrete is placed and compacted by rodding in a mold shaped as the frustum of a cone. The mold is raised or somehow removed, and the concrete is allowed to subside. The vertical distance between the original and displaced position of the center of the top surface of the concrete is measured and reported as the slump of the concrete. So you may refer to this figure here. And for the significance and use of this test method is intended to provide the user with a procedure to determine slump of plastic hydraulic cement concrete. And that would be all, and thank you so much.